What's up, y'all? We're gonna get started real quick. Appreciate y'all coming out.
It's been just days since the presidential election was called for Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris. But Julius Thomas and his fellow Young Atlanta leaders are already strategizing.
I kind of charged y'all with outreach to the hood.
So coming off the presidential election and then moving into a runoff, are you guys tired?
We may be a little sleep deprived, but we're hitting the ground running again. The excitement in the air of being a part of this, especially as a young person, is absolutely undefeated. We know this is something that we cannot sit out on. Gone are the days where young people are sitting on the sidelines. We want to be in the game.
That game is perhaps the most consequential election of their lifetimes. Welcome to the Peach State. Home to 11 million residents, it's the cradle of the American civil rights movement. Today, the future of American politics hangs in the state's balance once again. For decades, Georgia was reliably red, but this election, things officially turned purple, with President-elect Joe Biden poised to win the state, the first Democratic candidate since '92. Not to mention, 2 Senate seats, once solidly Republican, are now headed for a runoff.
The conventional wisdom that used to apply in Georgia is now thrown out the window. There is now power and strength in being a Democrat in Georgia in a way that there hasn't been for a long time.
Republican incumbents David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler both failed to secure a majority of the votes for re-election.
We have been through a battle, but we are not done yet.
Forcing a rematch with Democratic contenders Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff.
Retirement is coming for Senator David Perdue.
And putting the Republicans' hold of the Senate in peril.
If the Republicans win one or both of these seats, then they will have control of the Senate. If the Republicans control the Senate, then Joe Biden's going to have a huge challenge in getting his agenda enacted.
All this as the Trump administration challenges the results of the presidential election. Georgia counties ordered to begin a hand count audit of all ballots tomorrow morning. The dual races sending voters back to the polls in January. Republicans have deployed big names like Senator Marco Rubio to help.
This is literally, the showdown of all showdowns in terms of politics and what it means.
We don't have that many general election runoffs. Indeed, we've had only 8 of them in the past, and a Democrat has never won one of these.
But Democrats believe in their odds, fighting back hard.
They know what's at stake, and they know what we're capable of. We won Georgia in 2020, and we'll win it again in 2021.
A gubernatorial candidate in 2018, Stacey Abrams used her platform to found Fair Fight, an organization focused on fighting voter suppression and promoting free and fair elections around Georgia and the country. Her group alone helped register 800,000 new voters in the state, and with the help of other black women, they mobilized people of color to vote.
As a black man, I want to do my best to support black women and to stand with them and continue to move this state forward.
Since turning 18, Julius has never missed a vote. We first met the 24-year-old a week before the election, where he was working to get young people to the polls. Now, he's at it again. It's hard enough to get people to the polls for a presidential election. How are you going to convince them to do it twice in a 3-month span?
Similar strategies, but on steroids and a Red Bull. We're going to just amplify it like we never amplified it before. Georgia's really in a great position to really be an amazing example of how this country is evolving.
Georgia's political landscape is shifting as the population diversifies. With an influx of Asians and Latinos largely concentrated in urban areas, Atlanta and its suburbs accounted for half the state's vote.
That's a huge concentration of people who live in what are now largely blue county. You get enough votes in Atlanta and you get those votes counted, Democrats can win elections in Georgia.
And while communities of color generally lean blue, to many like first-generation Latino-American Carlos Alfredo Torres Fletcher, who goes by Cat, it's Trump's way or the highway. And what compelled you to start getting involved in politics?
It happens with the magic touch of Mr. Trump when Donald Trump launches his book, The Art of Deal. And that was the first book that I read cover to cover. Everybody wanted to be like Donald Trump.
But Cat's no anomaly. In Georgia, the split between candidates amongst Latino men was almost even. He managed a Republican congressional campaign, and his candidate lost by 60 points. But Kat, like Trump, won't concede.
I refuse to accept any of the elections. The election was not fair.
What will it take for you to accept the results of this presidential election?
I don't want to discuss on that matter because now it's a legal thing.
Georgia's Republican Secretary of State has repeatedly said there's no evidence of fraud or election tampering. But Kat remains defiant. Growing up in Venezuela and Mexico, memories of living under socialism and political corruption have made him skeptical of free and fair elections.
For me, this is a deja vu, okay? Beautiful things of the United States of America is to keep the elections honest. If you don't keep the election honest, and if you don't have a fair election system, okay, we're done.
For Bilan Liao, her life in her home country also shaped her political views. She immigrated from China in 1999.
I was 45 years old. I did not speak English at all, but I want to come to the United States for the freedom and democracy.
The 66-year-old has been activating both Chinese and other Asian Americans around Georgia to vote blue. Why was it important for you to activate your community to get out to the polls this November?
I live in China. I know what is under dictator and the life and what is discriminate each other. And in China, I don't have the right to vote. And here I have the right to vote and I have the power. That's the reason I want to stand up.
Every morning, Bilan logs into her phone to send messages on WeChat, a popular Chinese texting app, where she looks for new voters to register, shares information supporting Democratic candidates.
We need to reach out for the new voter.
And also spends hours phone banking. Asian Americans make up 12% of Gwinnett County, where Bilan lives. She says if they want politicians to care about their community, their voices need to be heard. Do you think it's going to be hard to get Chinese Americans out for the vote for the runoffs this January?
We have to try because we tried the first time. We have more experience how to campaign, and I believe we will get the Chinese, and the Asian Americans come out to the vote.
From now until January 5th, it's all eyes on Georgia, and the whole country's watching.
No rest. We cannot rest because we said this is the battle. This is the final battle. We need to fight the end.
While some remain resistant, like Kat.
My advice would be to repeat the general election immediately.
Others, like Julius, say there's too much at stake to give up now.
This is the most important presidential election of our lifetime. This is the most important runoff of our lifetime, of my lifetime.
The essential nature of this election changes the future of our country, protects health care, protects access to jobs, and protects access to justice.
One way or another, these runoffs will be decided by a new Georgia. Divided, yet diverse. Full of people just hoping to make the place they call home a little bit better. What's it like seeing the tide turn?
It's amazing. The beauty of Georgia, of all these different demographics that are coming in, and now we have more people who are being represented on the ballot and who are taking place and shaping this state and shaping this country now. That's the Georgia I want to be a part of. That's the Atlanta that I'm proud to live in, and that's the country that I want our nation to continue to be.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.